Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Thursday. And folks, if you'd like to play the game I'm playing at home, put in the chats how many times we're going to hear Tom's dog make a noise today. Just put it right in the chat and tell us what that number is. And the person who gets closest by the end of the program, I will mail you an autographed copy of, there we go, we're up to 3, The Renegade Way. That's right. We're playing big ball today. So keep your dog going, Tom. And the more we get, the more opportunity to get a free book. How's that for a great Thursday morning?
It's an interesting way to start. How are you going to focus on the conversation and track how many times the dog barks?
That's 4. That was 5. There were 2 there. Tim's playing along. He says 27.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Oh, that's 6.
Unless I decide to cut the show off short, and then we'll be in a different spot for that.
I've got to write these down. There's 7. This is great.
Telling you are not going to be. You might want to ask Tim to keep track, because you are not going to be able to keep track. Or the show is not going to have much content. Part of it. All right. Anyhow, folks, sorry about that. My dog is, I think, feeling alone. Our other dog is off to the groomer. My wife is away, and not away, but she's just not home. So our 15-year-old, half blind, half deaf dog is not sure what's going on. So you may hear him in the background. Sorry.
We're at 10 already, and we have a guest from someone 51.
Oh, geez. Well, I'm glad I could make your morning exciting, Bob.
You have, and Tim's on his walk, so he can't keep track for us. So okay. I may have to go back and listen to the recording.
Anyhow, yes. So it's going to be hard for me to focus now as well.
This is my favorite show ever. Totally got you flustered, and we're having fun.
Got a high bar set there for your favorite show. All right. Anyhow. So,
it's
folks,
just so
morning.
unpredictable.
This is today's Antidote, our daily broadcast, where we try to provide you with that one thing. Maybe today the one thing is a little bit of laughter and joy over my dog in the background, or Bob trying to stay focused. One of the two. That's going to be a challenge. Anyhow, we hope that you will find some value in what we're sharing as we discuss our topic today, which is time management. And its value. Actually, it's been our topic all week is time management and its value. If you have something you'd like to share or you'd like to guess how many times my dog is going to bark, please feel free to put that in the chat. At the end of the show, Bob and I will offer our one thing. And the one thing is not how many times the dog does bark. Our one thing about time management. And if you would like to share something, please put it in the comments below about what your one thing is. This is going to be hard. I'm the hardest part is trying to focus while Bob is completely unfocused. The dog doesn't bother me anymore. It's like, wait, no, it's not. All right. So, Bob, just so we can try to get you to focus here a little bit, why don't you do the thing that you love doing and tell everybody, and I hope I have this, tell everybody about our events in June.
It is June. That's good, Tom. So our events, hey, if you are part of the Ring Renegades Facebook group, and why wouldn't you be by now, you need to join us on June 24th at 4 p.m. Eastern time for our Roundup networking event. We bring all the Renegades together. Now I can't keep track. You're right. I can't do both. Now I have to go back and watch it again. We give you the opportunity to meet other entrepreneurs, business leaders, owners, and share time with them and get to know them, what makes them tick. So if we were doing one today, I'd ask about what's the craziest thing that a pet you've been around has ever done. And Tom would say, well, it was the day I was doing a program and Bob was trying to keep track of how many times my dog barked while we were doing the program. And I would say, the time a pretty big dog, jumped up on my lap while I was interviewing someone and knocked me off my chair.
Fair enough. I like that.
And that would be a way to get to know people.
Definitely.
So Tom, please join us. They're great events. They truly are. And you will be amazed at how well you get to know people so that you can follow up. And that's the name of the game. Tom, this is a great week. We're talking about time management. And here we are, day 4. And we're talking about the value of time management. We've walked through why it's important, what it is, when it's ineffective. We've given people some strategies. We've talked about some of the concerns with it. And today we're going to hit on why managing your time effectively is valuable. And I will tell you, this is the perfect day for me for this, because today is the first day this week I can actually sit at my desk and do my job all day. Something has gotten into it. My schedule's been all over the place. I've done some travel. I've done some stuff. Today, I literally looked at my calendar and there are only 2 appointments on it. I'm like, I can get all the things done that have been piling up on the to-do list. So for me, the value of time management is today is a catch-up day. And tomorrow is a get ahead day, because I thought something was going to happen tomorrow and now it's not. So I have this unique opportunity to get ahead. I've already booked something that needs to be done, planning that I have this extra work day. Am I making any sense at all? I feel like I'm not.
No, I think you are. I mean, I think to me, the value of time management is trying to be better prepared. Is that it's helping you try to find a way to make some sense of the chaos that is our daily lives, because there are so many things that go on, so many things that we have to deal with, and trying to figure out how to manage it all is a challenge. And so even if you can do a little bit of that, it's beneficial. I think, and again, as I think we've talked about, it's not easy to do because there's so many external factors that are happening. And when you're able to think about it, it becomes easier. One of the things I think we've talked about this week, I've got this big event coming up this weekend, lacrosse event that I'm assigning.
We talked about it yesterday. Yep.
One of the things that I didn't intentionally do, although it happened this way, I didn't have a ton of appointments this week. So that has really freed my time up to focus on this event. And what it has made me think about, as I think about what went well, what didn't go as planned, and what would I do differently, I think that is what I would do next year. That the week before this event, I would just completely block out my calendar. That now, granted, could I come in and change that? Sure. If I had the opportunity or a client had a huge need, but I would understand the challenge of putting on something like this and to just completely clear my calendar for that. And I think that's the thing that sometimes I have not been good at. I've had big events and I was like, well, you know what? I'm not going to worry. I'll get it taken care of. Or, which is worse for me, I'll just do it late at night. And typically that leads to like 2 a.m. in the morning and I'm trying to finish a project. And
Tom Brush, college boy.
Well, it happens. And I think that's the thing that, as I see the value of it, is understanding what is the priority. And for me this week, that's what it is. Yes, I have a couple other things that I am taking care of, which I would be able to do as well in the future. It's just the thought of thinking about, hey, you know what? This is what's coming up. How do I make sure I clear enough time for that? And sometimes you don't know how much time it's going to take until you actually do it. And then how do you figure out how to move forward? So I think the more you can look forward and say, I've got this big project I need to do. I have a presentation I have to prepare for. When am I going to do that? And I don't think that's been something I've been good at in the past. But as I think about it, it's more like, okay, how do I say, this is time that I am setting aside for just this one thing?
Tom, let me ask you a question that I hear and I experience and I've helped other people with often, which is if you block out time to do a big project like you're proposing, do you see the effect next week when you have fewer appointments, fewer things on your calendar? Because I know for me, sometimes it's like this, up and down, up and down. I'm at a conference for 3 days before the pandemic, and basically everything kind of gets suspended. And then I come back and it's like, oh, it's really quiet. And we have that ebb and flow, and you see it with a lot of businesses. Do you see that happening when you block out big chunks of time for something? And if it doesn't, what are you doing to make it not happen?
Well, you know what? I think what I've become more comfortable with is not worrying about that. Okay. Is almost being like, I think you can get to the point you're like, well, this week was quote unquote quiet when it wasn't. If you spend the whole week or 2 or 3 days or even an afternoon saying, I have to focus on this project. Well, that's what's the most important thing at the time. And so if you put in all this hard effort to focus on this one thing, whatever it might be, I think it's okay if the next couple of days you're like, it might be quiet. Okay, how do I restart the engine and get it going so that it won't be quiet forever? And I will also be able to recover. Because I think that's one of the things that we don't do well in our own, as when you talk about time management, I think we do a good job of, sometimes people are, everybody's different, does a good job of, okay, I'm going to block this time out for this thing, this meeting that I have to prepare for, this project, this presentation, this event. What we don't do a good job is, holy cow, we put a ton of time and effort and energy into that event. Where is my recovery? Where is the time that I'm like, I need a little bit of downtime? And typically people do it like on the weekend at night, which is great. And it's not really giving you that chance to say, okay, one, maybe the most important thing is, how do I evaluate what just happened? I know that when I was working at a university and I was doing a lot of events, it was event after event after event. And you would go like from one to the other. Like sometimes we would have family weekend one weekend and parents are in homecoming the next weekend and travel the weekend after that. And so I never found or created the time to say, hey, let's take a deep breath. Let's step back and do that evaluation of what went well, what didn't go as planned, and what would I do differently. And I think that opportunity is critical to what we move forward. We talked a little bit about it yesterday when you talked about blocking out your schedule and having meetings at 9, 10, 11, 12. You don't provide yourself that opportunity to reflect on what just happened. And so I think I get more comfortable with, you know what, if I had a crazy week, I'm okay with Monday being quiet because I'll have a lot to catch up with. If I don't have a ton of things on my schedule, I'm okay with that. And I think that is also a part of time management. It's not only the prep and the event, it's the follow-up recovery. What's next?
And I agree with all that, but I would say that recovery isn't just looking at what went well, what didn't go well, what would I change, but also resting.
Sure. No, absolutely.
You and I are a little older, and I certainly think that older than we were before, older than we were when I just said that. Okay. I am a little older than you, but my recovery from travel takes more time and effort now than it did when I was younger. I can remember when I was younger, I'd work Friday, we'd go up to Boston, we'd drive up to Boston, get there at like 3 a.m, sleep for a couple hours, do Boston all day Saturday, do Boston all day Sunday, drive home late Sunday night, and go to work first thing Monday morning. If you said that I had to do that now, I'd ask how many thousands of dollars are going to be at the end of that, because that's just not going to happen. And I think knowing that and building in time. So when I travel, I try to work it out so that I can have a down day when I get back, just to collect my thoughts. I also try on the weekends not to work at all, at least one weekend day every weekend. Like literally this Saturday, I won't touch my computer. If you called me and said, Bob, hey, we need to look at this thing, if it's not life and death, I'd be like, yeah, I'll get to it tomorrow, Tom, because I find that having that day away is where I get to clear my head. And then when I approach it Sunday or Monday, I have much better thoughts because I've had that distance. And I think sometimes we get so focused on what we're doing that we don't see the obvious things that anyone else would see. And not all of us are eager to share everything about our business with people. And so it's hard to get out of that flywheel. And I think it also leads to negativity. When I've encouraged people to get away from their work more, they always balk at it. But then you can see they have a better attitude.
Right.
And I think just attitude alone, it's not worth it. It doesn't make sense to work 24/7 on your business. It just doesn't. There's got to be something else out there for you. And I think if you believe that you have to work 24/7 on your business, and believe me, I think about my business a lot. Some of the people around me think about their business a whole lot. But still, there's time to be like, you know what? This is Wednesday at 4 p.m. I just want to play golf.
Right. Yeah, well, I actually think that makes you more effective at your role.
Oh, absolutely.
Anytime you're just solely focused on this is what's happening, it's hard to really get out. You're in the weeds, if that's the case. And you're so focused on that it's hard to see the bigger picture. And I think that when you do step away, it provides you an opportunity, even though you're not working on it, you might be thinking about it, or a thought might come into your head about how something might work differently. And typically it's spurred by something else.
Oh,
you go watch, you're in the grocery store and you say, that was interesting how they did that. That was kind of efficient. Or, you're at some other business and you see an advertisement, or you're listening to the radio, like, oh, that's a catchy, comment that you're saying about your business. And I think that allows you to then think differently about what you're trying to accomplish within your work or your organization.
Well, I think it allows you creativity. I don't think creativity comes to us very easily when we're like this.
Correct.
Creativity is when your mind's open to all the things in the world, not just, I got to get this done. Tom, I want to throw some creative comments into the mix. John says, let's see the dog. And I agree with John. That's a good call. We need to see the dog so we know.
Upstairs. I'm not going to get the dog.
Okay. Tim says, if I don't put it on my calendar, chances are good I'll end up dropping the ball. Right there with you. And Tim says, in terms of taking time off, I take every Sunday off from business completely. It really helps me recharge and reset from the usual stressful week. And I've worked with Tim on projects over the years. I know. Don't go to Tim on a Sunday. His clients know that. I've never heard anyone complain. Yeah. Not once. And often I hear, well, I've got to be available 24/7. I've got to answer their call. You don't have to answer their call right that minute. If you're in the middle of a thought or you're in the middle of doing something, let it go to voicemail and call them back.
Right. Absolutely. I think that's a piece of it, is that we get so caught up in feeling like, and part of it is what you shared, I think yesterday, or maybe it was 2 days ago, about communication. That if the more we're able to communicate, like, for example, Chick-fil-A is very clear. They are closed on Sundays. Now, do people forget because they forget what day it is? Or whatever? Of course. And there is no changing that. That's just part of their company culture. And I think it's the same for us. The more if we don't communicate it, then that's going to make a difference. Like if they weren't out there all the time saying, yeah, we're open. And if sometimes they were open and sometimes they weren't.
Right.
I remember someone sharing that they were struggling because somebody's website wasn't up to date with when they were open and closed. And so they went at a time they said they were open and they were closed. And I think it's that frustration. It's not that they were closed. That's okay. Everybody has the ability to close or do what they need to do. It's how we communicate it and how we share that with others. And I think that's a huge part about how, not only how do we manage our time, and also why that has so much value. Because now we're helping others manage their time, which I think that can be as effective and as important as managing our own time.
I couldn't agree with you more. I was thinking the other day of back when they had blue laws. Remember, I don't know if they'd had them in New York. In Maryland, they had blue laws, so you couldn't be open if you were a business on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Unless like you were a grocery store. And I can remember as a kid, there was no business transacted on Sunday. And it was very calming And you'd say, oh, how did you get anything done? You just knew that you did it Saturday. Saturday was really a work day to get things done. And then Sunday, you could relax. And sometimes I wonder if we force that, would that make us more productive? Because sometimes I know I go and run around all day Saturday, run around all day Sunday, and I'm just anxious to get to work on Monday where I can at least sit still and do what I know. Because sometimes running around, you're at the home improvement store, you're at the grocery store, you're at the auto shop, you're at all those places. Like, oh, this is harder than my work.
Sure. Yeah.
So Tom, as we get towards the end of this episode and we want to manage our time and people's time, what is your one thing today when we talk about the value of time management?
I think I'm going to go with that. It allows us to be prepared. That the more we try to manage our time, knowing that it's not always going to be beneficial or it's not always going to be work out, that it can help us be more effective at what we do and also allow us the space to recover from the things that we have done. I just think about this weekend and how busy it's going to be and trying to think about, okay, what is Monday going to look like? And how effective am I going to actually be? Because I had this big project I was doing all weekend. And, so if I first thing in the morning outside of this had like a whole lineup of meetings, I'm not sure that's going to be what's best for my clients or my business. And so I think the more we can try to manage our time, the more value it provides us and not only our organization, but also our clients.
I like that a lot. And I was thinking as you were saying that time management has the word manage in it. And manage is allocating resources to achieve the best results with limited extra strain and stress. If you're managing your time well, you're not making things harder for other people. Mm-hmm. So you saying to me, if I say, hey, Tom, Monday morning, we should do a planning meeting from 9 to 11. You saying, Bob, Monday morning's I'm shot. I can't do Monday morning. Oh, okay. How about Tuesday? Tuesday would be great. That's not just you managing your schedule. That's managing the bigger outcome because at 9 o'clock Monday, you're going to be barely able to focus on anything. You just want to get through that morning. And so when we manage, it's looking at what we want to achieve and what needs to be achieved. And I think those two things together will help decide because there are times when it's like, this is not the day for this.
Right.
Or I realized that after I had a string of bad decisions, every bad decision I made occurred in the afternoon when I didn't eat lunch. This was a job years ago. And so I'm working with the coach and she was brilliant. She said, hey, got a crazy thought here, Bob. Every day, go eat lunch. I don't care what that takes. If you're in the meeting, be like, guys, I need to stop the meeting and go eat lunch. My blood sugar is getting low. I really need to go eat lunch. Once I did that, I did not make bad decisions in the afternoon. And we tested the theory because a couple weeks later, she's like, don't eat lunch one day. Just see what happens. Sure enough, I didn't eat lunch. 2:30 comes. I said something I shouldn't have said. I was like, okay, there's the proof. And we don't think about those things, but I've talked to other people who, when they don't exercise, they start to go off track a little bit. I've talked to people who are like, I haven't seen my kids in a couple of days, and I really miss seeing them and spending time with them. It's like, so build your schedule that way. And right. in this pandemic world, it's been difficult for people. Now, I was talking to someone yesterday, and she was having a hard time. Her kids were making noise in the background, which was fine. I don't care. But she was very thrown off by it, much like you've been with your dog. Like, geez, this is really crazy.
I think I've stayed pretty focused, actually.
By the way, I saw the guess of 51. That might be a lot closer. I know we're way past 27.
Way past 27.
Way past 27. I think we hit 27 in the first 9 minutes. So, Tom, do you want to wrap this up and we'll put the bow on that, and I will go back and listen to the recording and track every single dog bark and then post the answer?
I don't know if that's a good management of your time, but okay, you're welcome to do that.
Tim's revised his answer. He said 27 originally. Now he's saying I should have said 127.
I think he's probably right. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you have a thought about the value of time management or how you try to manage your time, please feel free to put it in the comments or share it in the group, in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, which if you are not yet a member of, you can be a member. Just go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades. It is a private group, so you're going to have to ask to join. But all we ask is that you tell us why you're a renegade. And then you can become a part of this growing community of leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, people who just consider themselves a renegade and want to figure out how to take the next step along their own unique pathway to success. So I hope you will join us there, or you can join us tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, for our next edition of today's Antidote. Hey, Bob, we haven't talked about this in a minute, so do you want to close us out with talking about the summer celebration?
Oh, I would love to. That's one of my favorite things. So it's the summer celebration. We are in the middle of week number 2 of our summer celebration. It is your chance to celebrate big things, little things as we go through the day. So I'm going to celebrate today the fact that the unexpected can be turned into something fun. And that is Tom's dog, which could have annoyed us, turned into something fun that makes this episode one of my favorites. Your celebration could be about something with your family. It could be that you're going on vacation tomorrow. It could be that you had a great vacation. It could be that you scored the biggest contract of your life, or that your employees are all moving in the same direction, or that you haven't had someone quit their job in the last 3 weeks or 3 months. It can be anything. Just getting into the practice of celebrating. So by the end of the summer, you'll have celebrated, if you start today, probably 85, 87 different things to celebrate. And I can tell you, now that I've been doing it for the last, I think, 12, 13 days, I'm thinking about it first thing in the morning. And it's a great way to show gratitude. It's a great way to take stock, and a great way to really make yourself see all that you're accomplishing. So please join us. All you have to do is go into a Facebook group, the Ring of Renegades, and you'll see Tom puts a lovely banner up every day. And you can just tag it with Summer Celebration and tell us what you're celebrating.
All right, everyone. Have a great day. We will see you tomorrow.